Hi, it's nice to meet you, Manur. So Ido Biger, I'm the VP Technologies of El Al, it's the Israeli airline. I'm here in this role for the past year, and previously I was the Chief Data Officer of this company for 2 years. And in previous roles, I was the Chief Data Officer of a large communication company in Israel, telecommunication, TV company. And prior to that, living in the States, working for several top tier banks in the US, and a lot of professional services projects, mainly in the fields of data, BI, and artificial intelligence and machine learning, and practically managing today the division of information technology for El Al, also teaching in Tel Aviv University and in the Technion about the fields of big data and machine learning. Very happy to be here. Thank you for this interview. Aviation industry is practically a technology industry. It's in many ways considered to be a low tech, but it's pretty much the highest as you can get in terms of technology. All the huge shifts that are going through the industry right now is very much around technology, and being the one leading the information technology division in such a huge and rapid change throughout the industry is a huge privilege. I think technology is the main pillar that allows an airline to be either relevant or not. And I'm not just talking about the aviation technologies, I'm talking about the information technologies supporting the aviation. And you can find it everywhere, in the finance, in human resource, of course, in the maintenance, in the air crew, with the air crews, and everything around the cargo and service, of course. So technology is all around here. Managing the IT of an airline is like managing an IT of 7 different companies all together, because it's everything here in the aviation industry or for the airline is involved within this operation. And you can find here, once again, several technologies that you might find in telco, and then several technologies that you might find in maintenance, and then several technologies that you might find, of course, in digital platforms. So all in all, it's a very exciting role, very demanding. It's everything around the operational needs, and I'm thrilled to do it. First of all, it's a very good question, but it's not just a technology change. It's an adoption change. It's a huge revolution. Even now, I think you're talking to me from your house, right? Everybody's working from home now. Everybody's working in a different way. So in a very traditional industry, such as the airlines, I think the most important part in terms of the approach is the added value and the benefit you bring as a person, as an employee, to the organization. So no matter where you are, you have to be productive, and you have to be adding value. You have to add value to whatever you're trying to do, to contribute to the business unit you're working with. So in the adoption of technology, no matter where we're working with or which division we're working for, the main idea is to see how technology makes him or her better in what they do. And just to rapidly ask yourself, in which way does technology support my customer, and my customer is the internal customer, the other divisions, on a daily routine, on a monthly routine? What have I done this month that contributed to this division's role that wasn't available last week or last month? And with our customers, it's the same way. You have to ask yourself in the approach, how can I change myself? Can I adapt myself to the situation? Especially in the airline industry, where you have so many different changes with regulations, with health documentation, with all the things around permits to this country and that country, and incoming traffic and outgoing traffic and everything around it. you have to be very, very adaptive. I can give you an example that prior Corona, it took us something like 3 and 4 weeks to open a new station, technology-wise. And now it takes us 3 days. Okay, so we have to build ourselves in a way that we're very agile. We can really adapt ourselves to whatever the business needs in a very, very fast way. And that's what drove us more and more towards SaaS, right? Towards being able to get the services from the cloud and the services from the softwares and not being dependent on on-premise deployments. So we have reduced dramatically our amount of systems, and of course the percentage of SaaS systems increased dramatically during this period out of no choice. The human resource was reduced dramatically. Everybody has to work from wherever, and we have to be very, very flexible in supplying it and delivering it through those platforms. It's a huge factor of whether we're going to succeed or not. Communication, we can see it in many aspects. But in communication, where we talked about is what we call the global standard. I want to allow each and every one of the employees to work from wherever, whenever he wants or he or she wants, and be able to be connected to all the systems relevant for his or her job. And the communication is huge key factor of it. And a lot of my time, and the guy that is in charge of network and communication in my division, his time is spent on allowing ourselves to be a top tier network possibilities to allow this communication needed during those specific times. You can we find ourselves in a situation where even in our branches around the world, and of course in the stations that sometimes are closed down and opening up and changing dramatically, the only thing that stays and that we need to stay reliable is the network and communication, because everything goes around it. So it's really it's a key, it's a pillar throughout our delivery capabilities and throughout our maintaining capabilities. So that's definitely a key aspect. And in the air travel, in particular, the communication from and to, the core campus and to the airplanes themselves. Once we start to work on this ability for us, whether it's for the customer as a Wi-Fi service, or whether it's the communication that from the air crews to ground and from the ground to the employees working on it. That's the main change that happened through the COVID in this aspect. Well, first of all, let's for the listeners to fully understand the key aspects of augmented reality. Unlike virtual reality, where we're used sometimes in courses or trainings to see the full world in your glasses and understand the new reality that you pretty much disconnected from the existing world. When we talked about augmented reality and suggested the places that we can implement it in a very good way, an efficient way, we talked mainly on the maintenance side or on the training side, where you want to face, for example, the pilots that will allow themselves to see the actual cockpit and then train them for certain scenarios that's built on top of it. On top of that, we don't want to disconnect them, and then you can't really, train them with pushing the right buttons, etc., because they're disconnected. Just literally, they don't see anything besides what they see in their eyes. While using augmented reality, it allows them to experience the real world while demonstrating them scenarios from the planned or created world for our training. So trainings for sure, whether it's for air crews, whether it's for maintenance, whether it's for other people in the industry, it's going to be a huge factor. Second, in the actual work, when we want to add information on top of the existing world, especially in maintenance, you want to add some more information and more value to the system who sees, for example, a huge panel that he needs to replace now. So all the information around it would be reflected to him through those glasses. I think those two abilities will allow people to be more precise, more accurate, of course, to prevent faults and to prevent sometimes even losses through this ability. Yeah, first of all, I would really encourage more and more people to go into the tech world. We used to be called, we are called the nerds of this world, right? But this it's a huge privilege to lead technology, and I also teach in the university. So I always tell my students, you know, whatever we learn now won't be relevant in a few years to come, and whatever I'm going to teach there, we don't even know it now. So I think the most important part is to be updated on a constant basis and to learn more and more things about the abilities that are out there, and using of course Techo News and other newspapers and or portals or communication platforms to learn more and more about the abilities that are out there in the world, and to be updated all the time with regards to the possibilities that are out there should be a huge factor of what we do as IT leaders and as people that are going to be relevant in this world. And I hugely support such places and such services that you support.